Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 4, Episode 3, and the name of this episode is It's for the Greater Good. This was a damn good episode, y'all. I was so here for it. It was great. But before I get started, let me offer my love and condolences to everyone that was affected by the tragedy in Las Vegas, as well as the hurricanes Harvey, Irma, Jose, and Maria. If you can give any type of relief or support, please do so because, our fellow man needs our help and we actually have an obligation to help each other in times of trouble. Alright, so let me begin with this review. The episode opens up with Michaela and Laurel. Now, you remember from the last episode, Michaela just got this internship at this really high-powered law firm. I forgot the name of it. I think it's like Caitlin and Meyer or something like that. And it's the same law firm that works with Laurel's father. So Laurel wants Michaela to get some information, to help take down her dad because she tells Michaela that my father killed Wes. And Michaela is like, girl, you are fucking tripping. You think I'm going to ruin my career off of your own, off of your own suspicions and shit? Because you remember, she had them go all the way to New York to set up Charles Mahoney, but we immediately find out that Charles Mahoney won behind, Wes dying. And on top of that was Wes's daddy, too. But anyway. But yeah, Michaela's like, girl, you tripping. You don't even have any proof. You want me to get into this firm and do some shady shit, and you don't have any proof whatsoever, that your father was behind this. And Laurel lets Michaela know, like, look, my father is a terrible person. My father has a lot of ties, and he can make things happen. But what I want you to do is get my father's accounts. Get that information to me. That's all you have to do. I'm not asking you to, because Michaela's like, look, I'm not going to risk my life and get myself killed helping your ass. And she's like, look, it's not like that. You're just going to get my father's account information and, forward that information to me. And Michaela's like, you know what, I ain't got time for the bullshit, because they were walking down the street while they were having this conversation. Michaela gets in her car and just says, drive. and pretty much just pays Laurel dust. Next, we get a scene with Annalise. She's at the public defender's office. The woman that's the head of the public defender's office is her name is Virginia, and Virginia pretty much is kind of probing Annalise to make sure that she's on the straight and narrow, that she's not, she's not drinking and all of that, and do you really want to be a lawyer because you really want to help these clients because public defenders, they get cases by the loads, and they say sometimes you get 200 cases at a time, and it's hard to, try all these cases. So if any attorneys come in that actually want to help us out to solve some of these cases and to get some of these cases tried, everything is great. So she's like, hey, right now I'm still trying to get back into, get my, because we actually saw that, she had a big win with Jasmine's case last episode, but she's like, look, I'm still trying to get my feet wet, and I really want opportunity, and I'm just looking to help whoever I can. So Virginia assigns her the case of this guy, Ben Carter. Now, Ben Carter got tattoos everywhere. Like, he looked like he was a part of the gang. But what is the reason why he's in jail is because he's been accused of killing his fiance, and pretty much due to the fact that because of how he looks, people immediately just went to the conclusion that yeah, he probably murdered her. So we actually see that Annalise actually meets with Ben. Ben lets her know that I did not kill my fiance. She actually killed herself. After she had our daughter, she suffered from postpartum depression, and she actually killed herself. I tried to stop her, but I wasn't able to. And then he also brings up that me and her, and he pretty much lets her know that look, she was the one who told me to get out of the gang life. I did that, and I've been on the straight and narrow ever since. And and he said that I really loved her and I cared about her. But then the night of the but he lets Annalise know that the night of the why am I getting stuck on my words? The night of her death, they got into an argument, and the reason why he got into an argument because he found out that their daughter Madison wasn't his, and the fiance's name was Kim. So he finds out that the child that he thought he had with Kim really wasn't his. So they kind of got into an argument, but he said he never put his hands on her, and he never would do anything to hurt her. And in that he said, I did love her. And at the time, he's young. He's like 19 years old, and I think Kim was 19 at the time as well. So, and he lets her know that, look, she jumped out the building. I did not push her, because that was pretty much the whole situation. And Ben has been in jail for 12 years, and it's looking to Annalise that this guy has been in jail for 12 years for a crime he didn't even commit. And the funny thing about it, we see that when he admits about his daughter Madison not being his, Annalise stops the recording and she deletes it, because she doesn't want that being admitted in the court. So then we get this quick scene with Oliver and Nate. Oliver is at the DA's office, trying to get work for his new IT company, and he's saying that, look, Oliver, and Nate is giving anybody that has worked with Annalise, he is giving them the blues, because we saw last week he did that shit with Bonnie, but now him and Bonnie are cool, and I'm beginning to think that something may happen between them, just the way things are kind of, how the way things are developing between Bonnie and Nate. But Oliver is there trying to, get clients for his new IT company. He's like, look, I can do this and I can do that, and he's saying that and pretty much, Nate is like, look, we ain't got nothing for you. He's like, look, I can do a lot of, top grade, operations and stuff like that. And then like Nate was like, well, he's like, so you're saying, so you mean like, getting into people's information? And he was like, well, and then like, Oliver's like, look, I can do whatever it is that's legal. That's as far as I go with it. So Nate is like, huh? So you mean that? So if anything, so pretty much, Nate's like, so you mean to tell me you can do hacking and everything like that? And Oliver at first was like, well, I only do legal stuff, and he's saying that. So pretty much, Nate kind of like throws it out there, like, yeah, of course, because it seemed to me the only way you can kind of get information is that you would have to hack someone in order to do that. So obviously, you are hacking people to get your info, but this comes to play later on. So I was like, yo, Nate is really being an asshole, and he is so against Annalise. Now that he's the lead investigator now, he ain't letting Annalise fuck up his shit. And that's understandable. I mean, Annalise done put Nate through some hell. So I understand why he is the way he is. So pretty much we see that Oliver tries to talk to Bonnie. Bonnie also blows him off. So then after that we actually see that that Oliver meets up with the rest of the crew or whatever, and he like lets them know about him meeting up with Nate and Bonnie or whatever, and then like they all talking, and then like Asher was the one who brought up, oh yeah, Bonnie works for Denver now. And it's like, how do you know about that? He's like, I've been talking to Frank. Frank told me everything. And he was like, yeah. And they were like, you're in touch with Frank? Really? And he's like, yeah. He's kind of going through it and trying to put himself back together like the rest of us. And now Bonnie obviously is working for the DA, so that's going on. And then Connor shows up. Connor pretty much lets it be known that he just got this refund check of $32,552 or whatever, and he lets the crew know that he has decided to drop out of law. So really right now, Connor gives no fucks about law. He gives no fucks about nothing. He's the only one that has taken that recommendation from Annalise and decided, I don't want to do law no more. So now he done let the crew know he's dropping out of school. So then we get like the first trial for Ben, and Annalise is pretty much his attorney, and the prosecution is like really hitting hard that he's an ex-gang member, and that he has a history of violence, so I knew he killed her and there was nobody else that could have killed her and all of that. So they have already made this assumption that Ben did it based off of his past and based off the fact of how he looks. And next thing you know, we see Nate takes the stand because the actual person who was supposed to have been there wasn't able to do it. So him being the lead investigator, he can take the stand on their behalf. So immediately Annalise starts going in saying, so you mean to tell me that this whole case is being built on the fact that because of how my client looks, he's obviously a murderer? He actually gave up that gang life once he got with her, and he hasn't been affiliated with them since then. So what makes you think he would actually murder her? And Nate was like, well, the thing is, we're just going by what we have. And Annalise was like, well, you have very little. And it's like, it seems to me that you took very little and decided to make, you took very little and you decided to pretty much falsely accuse a man for a murder that he didn't commit, and a murder that you can't even prove that he did. So I was like, okay, Annalise was getting Nate on that damn stand, and that shit made Nate mad. So pretty much he actually find out that there's an actual recording of the victim or whatever. She's pretty much she pretty much made this recording or whatever, and she's letting it be known that she's distressed and she's distraught and she's afraid and all of that. So they immediately kind of like jumped on conclusions with that one. And that was a message that they got off of Ben's cell phone about her leaving that message. So they went off of that thinking, okay, he had something to do with it because he was the last person that she had talked to. And like anything, Annalise is saying we need hard evidence, and it seemed to me you guys have convicted this guy without any real hard evidence that this man did this. So Annalise is very adamant about it because he's been in prison for 12 years, and supposedly he's been in there for a crime he didn't even commit. So then we actually go to Kaylin and Maya with Michaela, and I'm going to talk about Michaela all at one time. She's, an intern at Caitlin and Mayer, this very high exclusive law firm, and we see immediately the lawyers there are completely, they are warriors, like they are a beast, big time. Because she's on the phone talking with Asher or whatever, and they're talking about they was talking about what Laura was telling her. So she's talking about this with Asher. All of a sudden this boss chick comes up. She's like, "What are you doing? Are you making a personal call?" And she's like, Well, no. She's like, and then, she gets on the phone, and Asher tries to act like he's like, oh, I'm looking for a lawyer. And I was just like, Asher is so fucking funny. And then all of a sudden, she hangs up the phone, and she's like, so what was it, like your boyfriend? She's like, yeah, but it wasn't serious. She's like, okay, up. And then next you see there's this other guy who's a lawyer too, and they get all the interns in the room, and they're saying that it's pretty much, it's pretty much the death dome. So what this is that they're looking for like the top students who are going to be like working like side by side with some of the attorneys there, and to look for, and they said that we pretty much, we're going to have different rounds. The first round, we're going to pick the top 4, and then afterwards, we're going to get down to, like, the top 2, and pretty much whoever's the best, that's the student that's going to be working really close, that's going to be working, like, really close with the lawyers. So they pretty much have, like, this, and it's literally like a game show. Like, they have to buzz in and answer questions. So any question that's thrown at them, they have to know it. So we also see that Simon Drake and his smug ass is up in there too. So he got an internship at the same firm. So they pretty much are going back and forth with all these questions. Michaela's killing it, but so is Simon. So when it gets down to the first round, the top 4 is 2 others as well as Michaela and Simon. So we see throughout the episode Michaela is studying because immediately old girl, the boss chick, she kind of pulls Michaela by her coat and was like, don't let that little child get into your head. And she's like, he's not in my head. She's like, yes, he is. I can tell. He's getting to you. You need to really focus, and you need to win this for us, meaning women, because I put $2,000 on you. So yeah, I bet it on you, girl. So you better make it. So you better make it happen. So I was like, oh shit. So now the pressure is really on Michaela to really succeed at this. And while she was studying, she had a conversation with Laurel. Laurel was still trying to get her to get her father's accounts in the firm, and she lets him know that, look, there's this office in Congoli, and it's the smallest office that they have at the firm. And he says my father's done a lot of business there with them. And she says that it's their smallest location that's located in Congoli. So, so she pretty much let it be known that, look into Congoli, you probably might find my father's accounts there. So now it goes back to round 2 in the competition. It's now between Simon and Michaela. Michaela is really in her head, and they asked the question, which is our smallest office within our branch. Simon hit it first because Michaela's kind of spaced out, and Simon says Nigeria. And all of a sudden, the guy was like, that is incorrect. Michaela, you can either answer it or you can pass. So she's kind of spaced out a little bit, but then she's like, and she thinks back to that conversation she had with Laurel. And it all plays back to her, and she's like, oh yeah. And then she answers Congoli Rwanda. So Michaela won. And Simon's and then later on we see Simon's like, I'm gonna get your ass next time. And I was like, yeah, Simon is just this psychopathic asshole, and he's just hell bent on taking down the Keating Four. So, and we actually see that Michaela is the only one that got a job, and we see later on in the episode that, Bonnie, Laurel tries to talk to Bonnie to get a job. Bonnie turns her down, so she goes to Frank and lets her know that, look, I'm pregnant, I don't have nothing going on right now. And we even see that Connor even lets Laurel know that, yeah, and you had an opportunity and you didn't even take it. But but Frank actually talks to Bonnie, and Bonnie finally decides to give Bonnie decides to give Laurel an internship working under her because she's the assistant to the DA. So we see that going on. So and then we see that Connor right now is completely hell bent on dropping out of school and spending that tuition money on some bullshit. And we see that this fool's going to clubs, he's like throwing monies at these little stripper boys and shit, and he's just in his own zone. Like, it's like he don't give a fuck no more. And they even try to do an intervention with him. They even brought Frank there, and Frank was even trying to intervene, like, look, you were too smart for this. Why are you giving up and all of that? And then, like, Connor's like, why the hell you even here? Like, at first, we were thinking you the one that killed Wes, and now everybody's all good with you now? And Laurel's like, he didn't kill Wes. He did not kill Wes. So I'm like, she know who killed him. And that begins to come together at the end of this episode. So afterwards, they make dinner for him and everything, and even Michaela jumps in and tries to sell him that, look, I love you enough to try to stop you from ruining your life because you're making a terrible mistake by dropping out of school. And what is your backup plan? You have nothing lined up. So if anything, Connor just goes off and he's like, look, I'm going to do what I got to do. And if you guys are really my friends, you will support me regardless of what you may personally feel. You will be in my corner. Oh, yeah. And the meatballs are good, by the way. And I was just like, Connor is tripping. But then we see later on, he back at the club, Ash is kind of demoralized because he doesn't have an internship. His girlfriend got an internship, but he don't have one. But then, he says, I need to do something. And then, Connor was like, well, hey, why don't you try being a dancer? You got to ask for it. And that was the wrong thing to tell damn Asher, because Asher starts, starts dancing or whatever. And then we see Oliver was the main one that set up the dinner because he's saying that Connor's making a mistake. And like Michaela even said that, look, Oliver was actually attracted to a guy who was ambitious and who had something going for himself. And now you're just turning into like this reckless ass person who ain't doing anything but blowing money and being stupid. So now we see Oliver has now brought in another force to try to get Connor back on the straight and narrow. And we come to find out, because we see that Oliver comes up in the club and he's there with these two guys. Asher being stupid is like, oh yeah, you like this ass, baby? Yeah, I'm straight and all, but at least this ass can make me some money. And I'm like, damn, Asher's a fucking idiot. And then Oliver was like, pump your brakes, nigga. Not nigga. He's like, pump your brakes, fool. These guys are Connor's parents. So we actually see Connor actually had two gay fathers. He had two dads. So all of a sudden one of the guys was like, so this is where my tuition money's going to, huh? And I'm like, it's going to be some shit now. So now you done dropped out of school and now you spending up the tuition money on dudes and shit and throwing it up at strippers. Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be an issue. Now, in regards to the case that Annalise has with Ben, the damn Virginia, the head of the public defender's office, she is giving Annalise all this kind of hell. It's like every time you turn around, she's trying to intercede on Annalise, saying, well, you need to do this and you need to do that because you can't afford to lose this case, and I'm gonna be making sure that that I'm gonna be on top of things because Ben's case has been tried before, and I'm not gonna let you come in and make things even worse. So, and then they even made her take a piss test and all of this stuff. So they are really putting Annalise through the wire. They are making sure that she is keeping up with her sobriety and all of that. So we saw all that go on. So then we also get, so then the next time she's in court, she gets completely thrown off because we end up seeing Nate and Bonnie get together and they said that you really want to kind of stick it to Annalise. I got an idea. They bring in Oliver to hack Annalise's phone. And at first, Oliver was not even trying to do it because Oliver was like, look, I have limitations as to what I can do. And Nate was like, that's bullshit. You've been doing this for Annalise for the longest, and that's how she's gotten all of her information. And to think about it, she let you go, and she didn't even have the nerve to tell you to your face. That is what played off of Oliver's ego, and Oliver hacked her phone where she erased about the paternity of Ben's daughter, and that the daughter probably ain't his. So during the second trial, the damn prosecutor throws out, oh yeah, and we actually request that we actually have a paternity test, done on the client, because the question is he really the father? Because we actually have proof that he even said that it's possible that this child may not be his. So we need to get a DNA, and shit just goes left, and I'm like, and immediately Annalise knew something was up. How the hell that even happened? So she knew she got hacked because she knew she erased that message. She goes into the parking lot or whatever. She sees Bonnie and Nate talking. She immediately goes over there and she kind of bashes past Nate. She's like, Bonnie, I know you mad at me and shit, but don't go down this road messing with this guy's life. You're pretty much about to mess with the life of an innocent man because you're mad at me. And she says, see, this is your problem, Bonnie. You don't know how to separate your feelings from business. That's why you're a terrible lawyer. And then Bonnie starts talking big shit like, Annalise, get over it. You just mad because you lost in court and that you're not top dog no more. And if anything, you need to be worried about. You need to be, worried. You need to learn how to deal with the fact that you're just a loser now. And Annalise was about to beat Bonnie's ass. And, Nate got in between them and I'm like, oh, Nate, I think is really starting to feel Bonnie. And I'm like, this is going to be interesting. So all of a sudden, he kind of breaks up him and, he kind of breaks up Bonnie and Annalise from fighting because Annalise is ready to beat Bonnie's ass. Because she's like, look, because pretty much what you're doing is that you're about to put this young man's life in jeopardy, and he may be going down for a crime he didn't even commit. So, therefore, that can lead possible, like, he probably killed her because he found out that the baby wasn't his. But then Nate broke up the fight, and Nate was like, it was all me, Annalise. I did this. And Annalise was like, bull! And walked off. I was like, there you go, Annalise. You know damn well Nate ain't that damn bright to do all that shit by himself. And they said that definitely something else was involved. So Annalise is distraught because now she's like, so now that this information came out, Virginia is really on her and saying like, look, I'm taking this case back. You obviously are not ready to really handle this. And at the end of the day, and she's like, well, at the end of the day, I really feel you just want this to boost your own ego. You really don't care about this case, and you really don't care about this client. So I'm going to take this case back from you because you're not going to make a fool out of us. But let's just say later on we see that a little birdie drops off something at Annalise's doorstep. And she immediately calls Frank thinking Frank gave it to her. But Frank was like, it wasn't me. Because Annalise was like, well, you're the only one that knows where I live. So how is that even possible? But she gets the package and there's a DVD in there. And in the DVD was actually taken from an ATM at a bar across the street from where Kim and Ben lived. And from this footage, we see that Kim literally crawled out the window and jumped to her death. And we see that Ben tries to rush. He rushes to the window like, oh my God, and he panics. So there was actual footage that Ben was innocent, and he's been in prison for 12 fucking years, and none of this stuff came out. So pretty much, we actually see that her and Frank are kind of working together, and she says, well, if you didn't do it, then who did? Frank does his intelligence and finds out the person who dropped it off was Virginia's boyfriend. You know, the woman who's the head of the public defense. The one who's been giving Annalise all this shit. And we come to find out that, yes, she was the one who actually, her boyfriend was the one who dropped it off at Annalise's doorstep. So Annalise goes into court and pretty much, you know, calls her out and says that she's a hostile witness and I need her on the stand. And they pretty much played the damn DVD to show that Ben was innocent, and come to find out she had that evidence the whole fucking time. And because Virginia actually was the public defender for Ben in his first trial, and that was never even admitted into the case. And she said that, look, you know, public defenders, I only had like 45 hours to prepare. I had over 200 cases at the time. You know, I didn't go through everything. It was a mistake. Yeah, and she says yes, and a mistake that cost this man 12 years of his life for a crime he didn't even commit. And you had the proof that this man was innocent, and it wasn't even brought into the trial until now. So she literally rips Virginia on the stand. And then, you know, afterwards, Virginia was mad as shit. She was like, you are such a hell-bent bitch, and here it is, you did this, and now you ruined my career off of something that was a mistake. And she's like, yeah, but it's obviously a mistake that cost that man 12 years of his life. And she said that you could have pulled me by my coat and could have told me what the hell you found instead of embarrassing me in court like that. And then she like spat in Annalise's direction. Annalise stuck to hem her up like, girl, you was about to get your ass whooped, because Annalise is already under a lot of pressure and everybody keeps fucking with her. Bonnie and Nate, and then now, you know, Virginia's ass. So she practically ruined Virginia's career because she's been disbarred now that this information has been leaked out. But we also find out that while she's working on the case, she gets a call that they need her to identify a body at the morgue. We come to find out Jasmine, the woman that she got off in the last episode, her former cellmate, has OD'd. And she even told you know, her Dr. Isaac, her therapist, that, you know, she gonna fuck up. She either gonna end up dead or she gonna call me asking me to get her out or something. She ain't really gonna get it together. And sadly, you know, they found her in an alley where a lot of people have OD'd on drugs, because they don't know the cause of death yet because they haven't done an autopsy, but they found her in an alley. So I'm like, damn. Soon as she got out, she ended up going back to the drug shit. So therefore, afterwards, after she finds out all of this information, and also after what she dealt with Virginia, she goes to Dr. Isaac's office, because she's like, look, I wanted to drink, but instead of going to get a drink, I came to you. And Dr. Isaac is adamant that, look, maybe you are not ready for this right now. You are putting too much on yourself, and it seemed to me that you just keep on focusing on other things other than your health. And maybe I need to maybe make a call maybe I need to make a call to the board to actually have them sit you down from doing any cases. And Annalise just goes off. She was like, I know what the hell you're trying to do. You know, having people piss test me. Every time I turn around, I'm constantly being checked. She's like, you're trying to break me. And if anything, the reason why you're trying to break me is because once you opened up about your soft spot, and I let you know that's how my husband got me, you've been trying to do every single thing you could to take that power back from me. You want to break me, and I'm not going to let you break me. And he says that, look, it's not about that. You need to focus on yourself. You focus on everybody else is draining you. And the problem is you need to focus on yourself and stop focusing on other things. Like, you need to focus on you. So then we also saw, like, so pretty much we see that went down. Then we actually saw that after, Michaela had her win or whatever, she gets some champagne and takes it to Boss Chick. Boss Chick takes both of the glasses, and I'm like, damn, she is just a bitch. But she's like another Annalise. So Michaela then got under another Annalise and don't even realize it. Because she's admired by her, and she's like, I want to work for you. And she's like, you do, huh? She's like, yeah, I want to work for you. You're the best. And she's like, okay, it's your funeral. So then, later on, we see it fast forward 2 months later, the night where Laurel's in the hospital. She's like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? Where's my baby? And we see Dr. Isaacs calling Annalise like, where the hell are you? Pick up your phone. He looks down the hall and he sees a woman who's obviously distraught. She's so shaken up, he didn't even realize who she was. But he walks up on her and he realizes, oh, hey, Michaela. And I'm like, how the hell he knows Michaela? So I think in time we're going to find out how he knows her. And Michaela is covered in blood. She's completely shooken. And she's like, is he dead? She's like, everybody around us dies. And she just broke down and started crying. So I'm like, oh, it's going to be some shit. So I'm like, How to Get Away with Murder was off the hook tonight. And that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, I've started a GoFundMe. You can actually check out that link in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the next episode of How to Get Away with Murder. So until then, everybody, take care.